This episode of the Corcoran Entertainment Show is brought to you by Black Box Prompter. Are you a musician tired of being tethered to your tablet or music stand? Do you long to connect with your audience on a deeper level, but find yourself constantly glancing down at your lyrics and chords? Then I highly recommend Black Box Prompter, the smart and stealthy lyrics and chords teleprompter designed to liberate musicians from the stage clutter. This innovative device is perfect for bands, hobbyists jamming out in the garage, touring pros rocking arenas, and even houses of worship looking to elevate their services. It discreetly displays your lyrics and chords, allowing you to maintain eye contact with your audience, adding an extra layer of authenticity and connection to your performance. Don't let distractions hold you back. Unleash your full potential and create a more powerful connection with your audience with Black Box Prompter. Click the link in our episode description and use the promo code Corcoran at checkout for 10% off your purchase. Black Box Prompter, the smart teleprompter built for musicians by musicians. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I am your host, Frankie Corcoran, coming at you on Thursday again. How's everyone doing? Having a good week? All that stuff. Before we start, I just want to give a quick little plug for our finale. Our finale of Music Mania is in Edmundston, and this is coming up this Saturday. So just want to give a quick little plug for this. We've had a great tour. This is, of course, our collaboration with Concert Time Collective, library tour at the MJRWJ Conway Public Library on Saturday, May 17th from 2 to 3. Join us for a one-of-a-kind concert where a lively string quartet and a hilarious classical music conductor bring music to life with interactive activities and engaging storytelling. It's a free event, and it's open to the public of all ages, and feel free to come on down. It's a great time, and that will wrap up. I've had such a blast doing this. That is, of course, if you're in the Edmundston area, but if you're not and you want to just come down and show some support, by all means, we would love to have you. And then another quick little plug for next week, not this week, but the week after. We have another performance with CM Productions. This is one that this is, of course, an encore that of the hugely successful show that we did in February, and it is, of course, the encore of Who's Underwear, CM Productions, Marsha Cash and Douglas Hughes' hilarious comedy farce. Definitely be sure to come check this out. Anybody, May 23rd and 24th at the Miramichi Valley Theater, and trust me, you do not want to miss this one. You really don't want to miss this one again. Because, of course, like we know people who said, "Oh, I would have came to it if I was around and stuff like that." Well, we're doing it again, so definitely be sure to come on out at the Miramichi Valley Theater. Tickets are $20, and they can be purchased at the door or by texting or calling. Let me get the number here. 625-2398 to reserve, purchase tickets, whatever you want to do. They're actually going pretty quickly, so definitely be sure to get those tickets now, and come on out. Come have a great laugh. It's a hilarious show, and so lucky that we get to do it 2 more times. So that's it for the plugs. Now on to the podcast today. Super excited about this one. Jeff Macolino. We had him on the podcast last fall, and he is one of the best. He's one of the best podcasters, in my opinion. He's the host of the Jeff Macolino Podcast. New episodes are every Monday on all audio platforms. He is also currently working on his new movie, The Last Ryde, in post-production. And next month, he's about to start filming his next project. So such a blast. It's always a blast talking with him. Be sure to subscribe to the Jeff Macolino Podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And great guy. Love chatting with him. And definitely wanted to make sure that we do this as a Thursday episode, because there's always just so much stuff that we talk about. So definitely, and I think I'm going back on there in the summertime, so very excited to do that as well too. But anyways, guys, yeah, without further ado, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast today. All right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Frankie Corcoran, and today I'm joined by someone who is no stranger to this podcast. He's a actor, producer, and fellow podcaster. He hosts the Jeff Macolino Podcast. New episodes every Monday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Very excited to have him on here again today. Jeff Macolino. Jeff, what's going on, man?
Oh, living the dream. Glad to be back, Frankie.
Living the dream, and he was also sipping on what was that, a beer? What are you drinking
Whiskey.
there? Whiskey.
Canadian whiskey. I want to
Canadian
make that
whiskey.
clear.
Some things never change. The last time we did this podcast, he was also drinking. He was podcasting under the influence, but that's never a bad thing. That's always fun. I never have anybody do like a multitasking. On the podcast, whether they're smoking a joint or they're drinking. But you're just very chill, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like even on your podcast too. It's not like it's one of those basic like question and answer, like, hi, what's your name? Where are you from? What inspired you to do this? It's just very laid back, and that's what I love about it. Do you prefer those podcasts? Like, when you listen to podcasts, are those the types that you prefer?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I like when it's just trying to have a good time and like your podcast, which I've listened to every episode since I think I've been on your show. I think I've listened to every single one. You're a great listener. So you ask a lot of questions, but you don't derail a good conversation because you want to go down the list of questions that you have. You'll stick on whatever topic. If someone says something interesting, the worst thing on a podcast is the host just lets it go, and then you're like, "What? That's something I want to know about." And I also like your podcast is one that I like because we have a handful of mutual guests here and there.
Yes,
And
like Marissa, we were talking about.
Marissa, yeah, and gosh, I'm forgetting somebody else who was
Trish
not that.
Rainoni, I believe Trish was on
Yes.
yours too. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, Flat Earth Dave.
Flat Earth Dave. Yep.
Yeah. So people like I like to hear the conversation with someone who I think has a not a dissimilar style, but a little different approach than me. And I get a kick out of that too, because a lot of times I'm sitting here like, wow, I wish I had brought up that topic. Frankie must be, well, I know Frankie's a lot more sober than me, so that probably helps. Um, but yeah, I was super jealous of you when you had Patrick Fabian on, and I listened to that episode, and the whole time I'm thinking I'm going to reach out, I'm going to ask him, and then I'm like, I don't think I'm going to because I can't do better. Like he hit everything I would have like. You nailed it. So it's like, I'm not going to
Well,
have
if
him
you're
on
a
and be
fan,
like,
it just comes naturally. If you're a fan, like you're a fan of Better Call Saul and Patrick Fabian, it just comes natural. Like, I'll be honest, I was shitting bricks leading up to that interview.
oh, I
Just
bet.
because like Better Call Saul is like top two favorite show. Like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul are my top two shows of all time. And as soon as I booked that, I was just like, oh my God, this was almost like one of those things I'm like, this could make me or break me, and it's just a podcast. You know what I mean? But I'm
Yeah.
just like, this is like what the whole podcast has almost been like leading up to, like all these episodes later. And but yeah, I really think if you're a fan of what they do, it just comes natural. And I don't get as nervous as I used to. Like, is that something that you dealt with? Like, were you real nervous and anxious when you started off?
Yeah, and I think I still have that to an extent, but nowadays it's more of up until they show up in the Zoom room, I'm nervous because I've had some big guests last year even. I had a few who were I mean, pretty big people. And it was like I was fine once we are on here, but I was just like, they're not going to show up. They're not going to show up. It's going to ruin everything. My whole life's going to be destroyed because they're not going to show up. But I've also found the more successful people are, the more likely they are to keep their appointments. Uh, there's a correlation between being professional and not, flaking or, getting the email the day later. I completely forgot. I'm sure you've had that.
Yeah.
Completely forgot we had an interview scheduled. It's like, yeah, it's not like I have a schedule to keep up.
Yep.
So, I
I
mean,
shouldn't say I did that to somebody one time and I felt so friggin' bad about it. It was like it ate me up. I was somewhere. I can't remember what I was doing. Scheduled the interview and then I get an email. I'm just checking through my email. I'm like 20 minutes away from home and they're like, "Hi, just checking to see if we're still on today." And I checked. I said, "Oh my God, I can't." I was like the whole afterwards. I said, "Dude, I'm so sorry." Like this was like around the time when I first started. It was just one of those things. I just said, "Oh my God, I cannot believe I did that." And I was like, so anytime someone does that to me, I'm like, I can't be mad because I've done that before by accident, you know?
yeah, it's a. I've said this before, and a friend of mine made it a quote of mine on IMDb, actually. But I said this on another podcast years ago, where I base my whole day around like podcasts that I'm recording. So I'll just schedule things in a manner like, if I schedule someone for 2 p.m. on a Monday, I'm going to start drinking at 1:45 on Monday. Like, there's a reason that when you search alcohol enthusiast on Apple Podcasts, my podcast is the 15th, I think, that comes up.
No way. That's awesome.
I got an email about it from one of those people trying to market, sell. And so I'm like, there's no way. I searched and they were correct. It was number 15 or 16. But it's like I structure my day. So if you don't show up at 2 o'clock, I'm now just day drunk on a weekday and I'm a piece of garbage. I'm not an artist. There's a fine line there between artist and degenerate. And, it depends on the other person showing up to record your art.
But the thing with podcasts that I like almost a bit more than whether it's acting or writing or stuff like that is podcasts. I mean, yes, sure, when you're acting and writing, you still are able to build some sort of connection with your audience, but podcasting, you're not acting, you're not telling a story, you're just chatting with people. Like I can relate to you and I can build a connection with you and we're not even acting. It's just this is just us shooting the shit. And in a way, I've actually kind of grown to like it. Maybe not more, but like I've grown to like that as much. Where I was so used to I just want to be in a fictitious world where I can make connections as Bob Hope or I don't know. I was just say made up some random name. I don't know why I said Bob Hope. Uh, Bob Hope, or Bob Macolino. I don't know. Is that a relative of yours or something, Bob Macolino?
Not that I know of. I don't think we've got any Bobs. Macolino's not a very common last name, so I
Not
know
very
most
common.
of them, I think.
Oh, okay, right on. But yeah, that's the best part really about podcasting. Is just building the connection, and you're not hiding behind any sort of facade. Like I'm the same person on the podcast as I am in real life. If you have somebody who sees you, who listens to your podcast, do they ever say to you like, "Oh wow, you're not what I expected," or have you met someone where you're like, "They are not at all what I thought they would be"? Like, have you dealt with either of those?
Um, Definitely anyone who's met me, and there haven't been many who have met me who have listened to a podcast before they met me. None of them have been surprised at how I am in real life because yeah, it's
Drinking
it's
and
fully authentic. Yeah, if anything, some who maybe listened to a podcast or two of mine maybe were delighted that I didn't show up with a drink in hand on set at 9 in the morning. Um, that's probably only a little bit of positive, like, oh, he's not drunk all the time, just all the time he can be. uh, but yeah, it is weird to. One thing I've found that's odd is the dynamic of when you meet someone on set for the first time, and then you talk to them on a podcast or in a social situation, and they seem so much different. And I'm like, oh wow, they were really acting the whole time. Like they were bringing shades of that character to how they were acting when we weren't acting on set, if that makes sense.
Right,
So
exactly. Like they never they kind of had a facade, I guess you could say.
yeah, a little bit, and never in like a terrible way, but it's like little things where it's like, oh, you were kind of being the character when you did XYZ, and you're a lot more chill, or actually, it's almost always been there a lot more chill when you're not on set. And some of that could be nerves too, I suppose.
Well, nerves and being around people and celebrities and stuff like that. Like this almost might be kind of different where you're talking to people from Zoom. It's not like we're in the same room or anything. So I don't know if that helps at all. But I it's interesting like when you meet celebrities and you're just trying to think like, okay, I don't want to come off as nervous. I don't want to come off as like you're it's almost like you're meeting the Pope or the Queen. You know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah.
meeting someone who's like not many people can say that they met them. So it's always just building up to it. Well, especially if you're working with them on set. I mean, like, have you ever met someone who you like really idolize, work with, or met on a movie set or something like that before? And you're just like, I got to be careful about how I am. Are they gonna like me? Like what kind of thoughts go through your head?
I've never had anyone on set that I was really intimidated at their success because I haven't had that many big name actors in anything I've been in. Eric Roberts was in Haunted Happy Hour, but he was not on set the same day as me. So we filmed he was a celebrity cameo, basically. He filmed his scene in Los Angeles. The rest of us shot the movie in St. Pete. But so I never met him. Um, I think I would go overboard on trying to be cool. Like, I would be annoying because I'd be like, he doesn't want to be treated differently. And then if he did want to be treated differently, I'd be like, like I would go hard into like, just treat it. Everyone wants to be treated like a normal person. And you encounter that one person who doesn't want to be treated like a normal person. Whoops. Now I'm a dick. But I think I would put on the facade at the very least. I was lucky. I got used to when I was in college. I worked for the Tampa Bay Rays, Major League Baseball team, and I was around. I still remember a day. I was 20 years old, and I was in a room with two future Hall of Famers, Don Zimmer, and a couple other guys who have gone on to like win a World Series as a manager and stuff like that. So it's like I was in a room with people who I was like, "Oh my God, I'm not supposed to be in this room." And I obviously, so I wasn't totally weird. I had to fake that I was comfortable and having conversation with these legends. So I think from that age on, I just kind of got used to being like, always be cool, never freak out. Um, yeah, I think the only like Drew Brees is probably the only human being I could meet in person that I would just not. I don't think I'd be able to control myself, my excitement. I mean, maybe like Sydney Sweeney, but that's a different part of the body that would be excited.
We could go on a whole list about Jeff's like fantasies and sexual romantic fantasies. That could be a whole podcast series on its own. Um, let's make that happen.
Yeah,
People, if you want it, vote on the poll. Start a
yeah.
poll.
If I interviewed Marissa Simonetti in person, I don't know that I would have been as cool as I was when I had her on Zoom. You know what I
Right.
mean? I think that goes back to what you said. There is an advantage of being like, we're on Zoom. Yeah,
Yeah, we can't do much. It's like I'm in my underwear right now. They're not gonna know. But then when you're around them, they're like, oh my God, like how do I smell? How's my breath? I even find myself, one time, it's so funny. I was doing a podcast interview on Zoom and I brushed my teeth before I went on. And I said, why am I brushing my teeth? Like I'm not going to be around them. I said, what am I doing? This is so stupid. But it's almost like you try to treat it like you're in the same room. Someone even asked me one time, they're like, so you're in the room with a lot of these people? I'm like, well, no, because a lot of them are like in different parts of the world. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we might sound like we're in the same room now because we both have microphones. It sounds like we're in a studio or something like that. But you try to make it as comfortable as do you prefer like in terms of podcasting? I mean, like we were talking about being working with people in person versus Zoom. In terms of podcasting, do you think you would prefer to do it just on Zoom, or would you prefer to do it in person if you had the choice?
I think I would probably prefer in person if I had the resources. Like, if I could have Rogan's compound and studio and everything, and people would travel to me to come on the show. I think, and if I did that, I'd probably go more into Joe Rogan territory of having like 2.5 to 3 hour conversations.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it would be cool to try, but I don't know how many celebrities in St. Petersburg, Florida, I'm going to be able to get because I don't really feel like moving. That's kind of my. I've lived here my whole life. I kind of like it. I film. I'm planning to film all my movies here that I possibly can. Um, so yeah, no, it would probably never be possible for me to do an in-person thing regularly just because how often am I going to get someone who's going to just happen to be in my neck of the woods?
Right, exactly. And the thing with podcasts too, it's being consistent and it's being not just consistent but also producing quality content, and that's really the main thing. Like quality over quantity is always a huge thing. And also I meant to congratulate you. Since last time we talked, you crossed 200 episodes, correct?
Yeah, I think I'm up to 230 something now.
230.
Uh,
That's
yeah.
awesome. That is so amazing. I mean, do you still find yourself learning lots about podcasting even still? Because it's so funny whenever people say, oh my God, like you did all these episodes, like, you're a pro at this by now, stuff like that. And sometimes we're almost humble and we're like, yeah, I mean, we try to act like it. Obviously I might still have some stuff that I need to work on and all that. But do you still find yourself finding like even 200 episodes later, like, oh crap, I should have done this, or I should do this, or I should do that?
Yeah, all the time. That's why I try not to watch or listen to my episodes, so that I don't so that I don't constantly second guess myself. Um, I literally look at the audio levels, and if they look good, I just put them out. And it's been especially fun lately. I've been putting out episodes I recorded last summer,
Oh,
and just
wow.
now putting them out because I recorded them originally for a spiritual TV network, and I was supposed to be like a comedic relief kind of host. The network got split up and delays and everything, and I'm like, a lot of these people I wanted to have back on to talk to again, and it's been 10 months since I talked to them. Like, I should have already had them booked for a second time, but I can't, I'm not going to put their episode out in May and book them in June. So I was just kind of like, I'm just airing these all myself. I don't know anything that's in any of those episodes because I am never. I mean, the conversation was 10 months ago. Like it's like I don't remember what we talked about 10 minutes ago. There's no way I'm going to remember 10 months ago what I talked about on a podcast, no matter whether I was sober or not. I get actually this is a good question for you though too. Is do you get like the phrasing is going to be weird, but do you get like podcast blackouts where like I mean you're sober all the time, but I've even had sober episodes where if you asked me 3 hours after, I'd say I don't really remember much about what we talked about. Like it wasn't. I can't do a play-by-play recap of what I talked about on a podcast.
Well, I get that sometimes when someone like normally I'll always say like afterwards or even beforehand, I'll say if there's anything in the interview that you said but you don't want on there, just let me know and I'll cut it out. But there's some instances where someone will say that and like, oh yeah, so remember when I talked about so and so, maybe just cut that. And I'm like, wait, when was that? Like, so I'm like skimming through the episode. I'm like, fuck, where? I'm like, where did they say that? I don't even know. Like, I almost black out to the point where I'm like, did they even talk about that? Because I can't find it here anywhere. Part of that could be just because I'm listening to the audio. I try not to listen to my section as much because I don't like talking, listening to myself at all. I mean, we all get like that sometimes. But yeah, I'd say I get blackouts whenever somebody would say, yeah, could you cut that? And I'm like, wait, like the episode was like an hour and a half long. What did we talk about? Where did we talk about that? Like, I can't remember where that was. Do you have people with that too? Like, can you maybe cut that out? Cut out the part where I said this or where I said that?
It's very, very rare at this point. I always do the same thing where it's like, hey, this is not a gotcha interview. Like, if you
Expose.
said something, yeah, if you want something cut, just tell me. I would say, honestly, in the beginning, back in 2021, I had probably a third of the guests ask for one little thing here or there to be taken out. Since then, I've maybe had one or two people ever ask me in like the last probably 170 episodes. I think trying to think like there's only been one time that I said something that I'm like, I need to go back and cut that out.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'll correct myself. I did start doing podcasts a weekly. Every Monday was an episode, and every Friday would be an episode of my daughter and I talking about news stories and stuff. My daughter asked me several times to go in. She'd like trash talk her teacher, and I'm like, "You really want that on a podcast? Like your teacher can listen to this, you know?" Like,
Yeah, literally
she's like,
anybody
"Oh,
can listen to that
cut
too or
out."
tell her.
Yeah, and so that I made a comment that had nothing to do with it, but when I said it, I'm like, "Oh shit, that it was I was making a joke about frogs. My mortal enemies are frogs. I hate them with a passion. They
Hate
try to kill me.
frogs.
Yeah, they're evil demon creatures. But I was talking about how they're coming at me, and when I finished saying it, it was like humorous. The guest was laughing, and I'm like, you know what? Trump just got shot in the ear 2 days ago, and I sound like I'm making fun of that, even though it wasn't the intent. I'm like, I'm just going to cut that whole thing out. I'm like, because in context, and there was no like, it didn't cross my mind until I finished. Everyone was laughing, and then it was like, oh wait, that's going to sound like something that I didn't intend to, you know.
That's the problem. I always, yeah, like I have some friends, Sean and Kyle. If you guys are listening to this, we go off on numerous tangents whenever they're on the show, and there's even lots of times in those episodes where we're having to go back, and they're not even messaging me to tell me to take that out. I'm like, dude, we can't say that. Like we like sometimes like talking with your buddies, sometimes some dark humor slips out and you're like, we can't have that for everyone to hear. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, like that's something. I mean, like dark humor, if it's with people who you're close with and that, nobody else can hear what you're saying, then yeah, that's fine. Everybody does that. Doing it on a podcast, I had to say, no, someone hears that, I'm screwed. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and it only takes one person hearing something out of context to, like I never get political on my podcast. Uh Maybe a little when I was doing them with my daughter, but it's not like
you're not
I'm not
endorsing anybody or anything.
right. Exactly. I'm not. I'll endorse Marissa in her Senate run. That's it.
Yes, I
People
technically
come on my
endorsed her.
podcast.
I endorsed her, but I'm like, I don't have a dog or what's the saying, a dog in this fight, or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not my thing. It'd be different if it was a Canadian politician, which I'm like, I'm just gonna stay clear of that. But something not in my country, yeah, sure, I'll endorse it.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah, me too. I don't live in Minnesota, so I can't vote in her election. So, it means nothing at all coming from me either. And oh, by the way, I didn't speak a word about politics to her in the entire interview. I mostly talked about, getting drunk and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
see, that's what I love about your podcast is how your podcast, it's like you could have Elon Musk on, or you can have someone else on, and you guys just find a way to just start talking about drinking. You know what I mean? Like that's what I love. It's so casual. It's not like so Elon, why did you start Tesla? Why are you such a dick? Why did you do that salute? You're not asking that. It's just like
Why do you have to knock up every woman?
ask
How
that
many
to Nick
kids do you
Cannon.
need? Yeah. Yeah. No, I might ask that question. Like, did you go to sex ed class? Because there's a thing called a condom. Just saying.
I keep using a bread bag because I can't find my condom anywhere. Like it's
The
like
world doesn't need 100 Nick Cannon copies. We're okay. We're okay.
my favorite is it was a meme. It was Nick Cannon's kids on Father's Day, and it was just a warehouse of children running around like Santa's workshop. And it's
Should,
like,
should,
how do you have that
oh,
many kids? I mean, I'm not want to judge someone on that type of stuff because I mean, like, that's your kids, you know what I mean? But when you're doing that, and then I'm not even sure, does he have a relationship with those kids at all? The ones that he
I,
has, or does he?
I
There's probably kids out there that even he doesn't know about.
Oh, I'm sure, and I can't imagine it's possible. I mean, especially with as many baby mamas as he's got and his busy schedule, there's no way. This goes for anyone who's got the 10 plus baby mamas and 10 plus kids. There's no way that you could get. I have two kids and I'm divorced, but one mom, and I have them half the time and have great relationships with both those kids. But it's like even if there was two moms, that would really start being a hurdle. Like, how do I schedule dad time around, even if I wasn't doing fun stuff for a career, if I had a corporate job, like it would still be difficult, maybe even more difficult to actually be in their lives. Um, so yeah, I don't know, but I'm a very I'm also a super helicopter parent who's always wanting to spend as much time as possible, and I enjoy my time when they're with their mother too. Don't get me wrong. That's
Just you
that's
time.
me time. For the listener, I just held up my almost empty drink that I'll be refilling soon.
Jeff's like, it is 11 o'clock in the morning.
Mm.
That
I've
early.
I've had some podcasts at 10, 11 a.m. and I'm like, all right, it's gonna be an early day drinking session for me.
And it's on a
Um,
Monday. What do you do for a living? Imagine your kid's career day. So what does your dad do for a living? He gets drunk and he talks to people in the living room.
yeah, and then he disappears for a month to do a movie. Um, Although my kids were in the movie I shot last November, they both had just kind of day player bit parts. But they both actually have a pretty important role in the movie I'm shooting next month. So I keep them involved. They'll see me a lot, but I'll be director dad.
Yeah,
It's
exactly. Director. Yeah, no, there we go. That's a good hat. Director dad. So, all right, kids. So kids go to bed, and I'm gonna do this. Blah blah blah. The Corkin Entertainment Show is brought to you by Podmatch, the ultimate platform designed to connect podcast hosts with prospective guests effortlessly. Are you a podcaster looking to elevate your show to new heights? Or perhaps you're a guest hoping to share your story with a broader audience. Whatever your podcasting goals are, we have the perfect solution for you. Podmatch simplifies the entire process of discovering guests for your show or finding podcasts to feature your expertise. Now imagine a platform where you can easily match with like-minded creators tailored specifically to your niche. With Podmatch, you can effortlessly network with influencers and thought leaders, all while staying true to your podcast vision. There are a multitude of ways that Podmatch can help you grow your brand. You can be part of a thriving community of podcasters and potential guests. Engage, collaborate, and grow together. If you're ready to experience these fantastic benefits for yourself, we invite you to join Podmatch today. Head over to www.joinpodmatch.com/Corkin Entertainment and sign up right now for only $6 a month. That's right, you heard me right, $6 a month. Join the Podmatch family today and watch your podcast soar to new altitudes. Thank you for tuning into the Corkin Entertainment Show, and happy podcasting. So this movie, the last time we had you on the show, it was you were still in pre-production, and now you're in post-production on The Last Ryde. Feel free to tell us a bit about that, which it's currently in post-production. There's no release date set for it, but there's clips on Instagram at, The Last Ryde on Instagram? But Ryde is spelled with a Y. Just keep that in mind,
Ride
folks.
with a Y. That's our fictional rideshare company.
Yes, there we go. Feel free to tell us a bit about the movie and how the shoot went and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, it was looking back, it was kind of incredible that everything worked for us. So, I mentioned St. Petersburg, Florida. Last October, we got hit by 2 hurricanes. A lot of people in early October got hit with Hurricane Helene, and the entire beach was wiped out. A lot of people lost their home. Then in late October, Milton hit. My house flooded. Where I'm in this room I'm in right now had standing water in it. And we were scheduled to check into our Airbnb and start filming November 1st. So my house had walls ripped up and everything. And it's like, well, you might get the reference, although it's kind of obscure. But I channeled Walter White and I just said, nothing stops this train. And,
Yes.
evil, dark Walter White in the last season. Nothing stops this train. And that was just the thing. I'm like, we are going to film this movie and I don't care. And
But don't shoot any kids on dirt bikes.
You're right. That's someone keeps saying they say film, not shoot. People get confused.
Exactly. No, Aaron Paul goes out. No.
I did say that to somebody. I'm like, well, I shot my son yesterday, and that was the first scene for the movie. And they're like,
you killed your
what?
And then you show them that scene in Breaking Bad where the kid gets shot.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my
tarantula. Yeah. No, so we shot this movie in a city that was not in great shape. I mean, my house was, luckily it was livable, but the walls were ripped out in a lot of the house. My bedroom, I was sleeping in a room where the walls were, just ripped down to the studs to prevent mold. So somehow none of the actors we had cast had to cancel. I mean, a lot of it was because nothing else was filming down here. So there was no conflicts.
It all got to work out.
Nobody had any conflicts. I talked to the film commissioner, and she was like, "You're, I think the only game in town, basically, because who would be filming here?" I'm like, "Me, because I plan to film here, and I'm not postponing my thing because I know when you postpone something, it doesn't happen in entertainment."
Right. No, almost maybe about 90% of the time, or well, depends, I guess. I guess it depends on what caused the delay, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and when it's low budget, I mean, part of it is like if there was a delay, I would bet we'd have to recast the entire movie. And people like our cast.
Yeah, people's schedules and stuff. Yeah, and you're like the cast. The selfish party, I wanted to keep them all in. So where it's like, okay, if I can't have them, we're done,
Yeah, so and the director, Christopher P. Smith, who lives a couple hours north, he was game, and my producer, Rick McConicle, lives in Orlando, and he was game. And so we, got everyone together and made the movie. So it's about down on his luck rideshare driver who's on the brink of suicide. And one of the people he picks up is a guy with terminal cancer who's got 48 hours to live. And I play the rideshare driver. Of course, I cast myself in the lead of that one. Um, and the terminally ill guy just hires Anthony, my character, to drive him around for the next couple days so he can kind of settle his affairs and make peace with his family and stuff like that. So it's a drama, not really the thing most people expected me to, you know, produce.
I was
and star in.
surprised. I heard that. I was like, "Oh man, it's gonna be a great comedy." And then even just seeing some of the clips, I was like, "Oh, I'm kind of sad." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't anything like earth shattering, but it was just like, "Huh." Like, this isn't what I expected from Jeff. I was expecting like a 40-year-old virgin type comedy. You know what I mean? Like cult classic or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I love the story. I mean, the story was actually my idea. And then Chris, the director, ended up writing the script because I couldn't get my head around it because I'm not really a drama type writer, frankly. Um, but I loved the script, and I thought it was great for me as an actor to take on a role like that and just see if I could do it. So the jury's still out on that one, but I hopefully did the character justice, and yeah. Now I can tell you the movie I'm shooting next month is a comedy, and
Back to your roots.
yes, it is a comedy. It's kind of a heartfelt comedy, but it's a comedy first, and I actually. I guess I could share this with you because why not? I actually wrote a script for a movie completely blackout drunk. My kids were on a cruise with their mom, so I'm like, I've got. Oh, and this was while we had just sent out the sides for people to do auditions for Thanksgiving again, the movie I'm shooting in June. Just sent out the sides to the actors. So I was in that holding pattern of like I just constantly nervous and need something to do. And I was also drinking heavily because I didn't have my kids for a certain amount of days. And one day I wake up and I open my laptop and I see that I've written 24 pages. Excuse me. I've written 24 pages of a script.
That's like a
And
BoJack Horseman thing. That happened on BoJack Horseman.
oh, well, there you go. I've never watched BoJack Horseman, although it's on my list of things I've been told I would like. Um, so I decided I had to start drinking early the next day and give drunk Jeff a chance to write the script. And the next day I woke up, there were 56 pages done. Did the same thing. Next day, 78 pages. The next day, 96 pages and a note that said, "Have fun editing this, big guy." And aside from the first few pages, sober Jeff had not read any of this script.
Oh my, that is so fucking funny.
So I actually scheduled. This part is maybe the most insane thing I ever did. I scheduled a Zoom table read with me and I think four other guys, and we all read the script. I assigned the characters just based on one character was me, so I did that, and the other characters I just kind of broke them down based on the lines they had in the script. Didn't read the script. And we did a Zoom table read that I recorded of the script of the movie that I've called Spaghetti Face. And that is, you want to talk about a raunchy R-rated comedy that's right up my alley? That's it. I'm like, ooh, drunk Jeff went for it.
Drunk writing. I got to try more drunk writing, see what happens.
It worked for me. I mean, the idea was one that I've had and discussed. It's just one that I think truly when in December I started having talks with Rick, the producer who I mentioned, started having talks with him, and I'm like, I want to film another movie. Like, let's not. While The Last Ride's being edited, I want to start pre-production on the next movie. And Spaghetti Face, I didn't have a script, and I'm like, Spaghetti Face is my favorite of them. Thanksgiving again, I think, is the next best and probably can be done for like $30,000. Spaghetti Face, I think, is going to need like 100 grand, and I don't have that money to spend. So it's like, well, then we're doing Thanksgiving again. So, but I like that I've got the whole script for the next movie done. I mean, it's not done. It does need to be edited. I'll make that clear, but I'm not taking
Drunk
the time
editing
to
too.
edit.
Drunk filmmaking is the
Yeah, there's maybe something to that. I think maybe I'll do a pass through sober and fix some of the terrible grammatical errors. There's also certain plot lines that I could see that I started that just died because a lot of times it was like I start it one night and the next night that plot doesn't exist to Drunk Jeff. So I can see how that would happen. So it's like I either need to finish those plot lines or just erase them, either one. But the story is good. There's just a lot of bad language. There's a lot of sex. It's like an 80. Like someone said, it was like um, if Eastbound and Down uh, combined with a mob movie is basically
that's a good way to
take.
put it.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty spot on, which is kind of what I wanted. It's so anyways, that's years away from being actually made. Well, hopefully it's not. I'm hoping that I'm gonna kind of focus on getting the Last Ride and then Thanksgiving again in the festival circuits and on streamers everywhere. And uh after that, I'm hoping that, Rick and I can take these two movies and say, hey, we made these two movies combined for less than $60,000.
Which that's
And look at how good they
that's
are.
not bad too. I mean, like most budgets are like, I mean, not like a big Hollywood movie budget or anything like that. It's not like Joker 2 where they're making Joker 2 for like 200 million. You're like, why did that need to be 200 million? You know what I
Crazy.
mean? But that's pretty good for smaller indie film. And yeah, man, like that's just fantastic. And I'm just hearing about you writing shit drunk. I just cannot believe. Maybe sometimes if I need to fix my writer's block, I should just break my sobriety and give it a try. Would you recommend
I'm
it
a
to anybody?
I'm a bad influence. Hey, the funny thing is, I actually talked to somebody who said, "Oh, I do that with weed." And I'm like, no, I tried that when I was writing the script for Thanksgiving again. I tried to, I did most of January not drinking with the goal of losing weight, not getting health. I mean, not getting off alcohol. So I was high all the time. And I'm like, nope, I just sat on my couch and watched TV and played video games when I was high. When I was drunk, I had the fire inside me to create, which I don't think is common. I think I'm a bit of a unicorn in that regard. But I do think the alcohol helps you stop thinking so much that you can actually just blah. I don't care if what I'm writing is garbage. I'm just writing because it's fun. But you have to have like the discipline to know. So like my plan when I was doing that, by the way, was I would be like, all right, I need to start drinking early because I've got a super high tolerance. If I'm going to get where I need to be, I'm going to start drinking, let's just say at noon. And at, I would usually queue up like 3 hours of movie or TV and then say, okay, I'll either watch one episode of a show or go into writing once I'm done, 4 hours in. And it seemed to work. But a lot of people, when they get drunk, their plans go out the window. So
Oh
I
God,
don't,
yes.
yeah, I don't think that that's recommended for anyone. I think that's just
That's just Jeff
luckily,
Macolino.
yeah, unless you've got my alcohol processing abilities it's my superpower. You know, if That's the way I look at it. Like if you've got certain things that you can do that are extraordinary compared to other people, I mean, take advantage of it the best you can, right? I mean, it's not the healthiest or maybe the society endorsed superpower, but
Drinking is your
I'm
superpower. What if you should make a Chat GPT, put a picture of you on Chat GPT and make a superhero, like I don't know, drunk man or something like that. I don't know, drinking. like what would you call your superhero if it was to be? Because that's your superpower.
my brother and I, this is one of my biggest disappointments that it never came to fruition, but it's still in my head and in his head too. My brother and I created a comic book universe. And I was a superhero in that universe, and
Universe.
yeah,
You're already
and
just
we found out that my power was that I was immortal. So I should be dead from the things that I've done, but actually I'm incapable of dying, and that's why I recover faster than other people, and why I don't die when I do ridiculous things. Um, Obviously that's not real life, but no, I was there was going to be a character. Well, we don't know we're not immortal until we're dead.
Yes, it's true. I'm gonna jump off this roof, and if I wake up, then I'm immortal, or immortal. But if I don't, I guess I'm not.
Yeah, there's really no way to prove it until you prove it.
Let's try it. No way.
Yeah, I mean, you could survive jumping off a roof potentially, depending on how luck and all that other stuff.
Or
I
if you
mean, you
shoot
might.
yourself in the head.
Yeah, there have been guys who survived shooting themselves in the head too. They just, missed their target, I think, more than are immortal. But it's it's I think it's safe to assume everyone is mortal.
Until
It,
proven otherwise.
yeah, well, and even if they're like 1,000 years old, I mean, that doesn't mean they're immortal. That just means they've lived a long time.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Someone
Yeah,
who's like
so
90 years old, you know?
yeah, yeah. Hey, look, if I live to 90, I will start believing that I'm immortal because I treat my body I ride hard and put it up wet. Like it's not a it's not a temple. It's a rental boat.
No, you're immortal, man. I think because it's always the people who don't, who like smoke like a chimney, drink like a fish. They live longest, I find, and then the healthiest die young. I think that's it's been proven many times.
Well, I think I kind of adopted that attitude, by the way. Like I want to do certain things because I want to lose weight, but only so I look better on camera. Like not because I'm healthier, just it'll make getting laid easier and I'll look better on camera. Those are the only reasons. There's no health because
So you can be like Nick Cannon and and get like 20 other kids.
yeah, I got to get that vasectomy. Uh, but it's kind of like I just realized there's so much luck involved. The healthiest person in the world could get cancer at 30 years old. Like it's luck. There's someone who smokes every day of their life from a teenager until 80 might have the healthiest lungs of anyone.
Yeah.
There are things you can do to improve or decrease your odds of longevity. But ultimately, if your life is miserable because you can't eat or drink or stay up late or whatever, skip a day at the gym, that's not a life worth living longer, is it? I've gotten real philosophical in this conversation. We go from talking to podcasts to movies to now my life philosophy of like,
Jeff's just the
it's going
Jeff
to be
being
tragic if I'm dead when this episode comes out.
Jeff's I better release this right now. We're pre-recording this. I better release it as soon as we're done. I got to edit it because I don't know what's going to happen to Jeff. He might not live to see this podcast, so this will be in his memory.
Yeah, I mean, they're sadly that does enter my mind sometimes. Like, I've told a friend, like, I keep my recorded podcasts on my computer here. Here's the pin code. If I ever die, just release them. Just put them out there for me.
I should do that in my will. I mean, like, it's not something you want to talk about. But life's short. Life is short, so let's enjoy it while it's here. We're trying to be all philosophical, and it's just this is so good. It's what I love these episodes. These are so good. But
Yeah, see, I turned it into a Rogan episode.
yeah, literally. This felt like a Rogan episode, which is I even said, I said your podcast is probably the most Joe Rogan-y show I've ever been on, because we just start going on about like like so much shit that it feels natural. You know what I mean? Like you just have that way. So definitely, guys, if you want to see more of this, the Jeff Macolino Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts, be sure to check it out. Jeff, it's always a blast, man. Oh my God, my cheeks hurt so bad. It's always a blast chatting with you, and also listening to your podcast and everything. Where can people find you on social media, and when will we know more about the Last Ride's release, or is that just kind of up in the air?
Well, so I recently rebranded my Instagram, Facebook, and kind of Twitter to Macolino Entertainment Network,
Oh yes, that's right too.
and they are they me. That's the
Save them.
umbrella. Yeah, that's the umbrella for everything I'll be releasing, be it the podcast, the Last Ride. The Last Ride does have a separate Facebook and Instagram account. Thanksgiving again will not, because I don't like social media. So it's all under one umbrella now. Heck, I also potentially, before the Last Ride is available, I did shoot a season 2 of a show called the Dads and Drinks Show, that I'm hoping can get edited and released quickly. Editing is really the bane of my existence right now. It's because I can't do it. I'm a little colorblind, so it basically disqualifies me from being an editor, because I can't tell the difference. Anyways, it'll all be on the socials. At Saint J Mac is usually the handle, and yeah, I'll make sure it's known. Yeah, with movies, for the Last Ride, we're gonna have a local screening of it in early June, but there's distribution and selling and that kind of thing, so maybe September, October before it's actually out. But follow the socials, enjoy whatever garbage I put out there, like Drunk Jeff Eats, and that's a YouTube exclusive. And
And
yeah,
OnlyFans.
yeah. If I could make money on OnlyFans by doing Drunk Jeff Eats, I'll take my shirt off and do it. If that's we're only going to shoot from here up, though.
Oh man, that's so good. So guys, be sure to follow Jeff on OnlyFans and Instagram, and subscribe to his podcast. Jeff, thank you so much for coming on. This isn't the last we've seen of you. Of course, we're gonna have you back on at some point. But thank you again for coming on, and just always just being you. It's just so good. I love it.
So one thing I can control, being myself.
Being you.
Thanks for having me, Frankie. It's always fun, man.
My pleasure, dude. My pleasure. So, guys, thank you so much for listening to the show today. We will see you guys next time. But until then, this is Frankie and Jeff Macolino signing off. Cheers, Jeff.
Cheers.